What's going on, Colts Nation? It's Elijah from Sports Talk Indy, where we cover all things Colts every single day. This offseason has already been filled with some conflicting reports as far as what's coming out of the Colts camp. Certain people said they got traded and didn't actually get traded, but they ended up getting traded to a rival team. So, as with everything that I'm going to say here, these are all reports, these are all confirmed by sources, but the Colts have kept a tight lip on what they're going to be doing in the NFL draft. But if all of this is true, it's going to provide some really, really crazy circumstances for the Colts to be able to draft and to do something really, really cool that they've not done in the 8 years since Chris Ballard's been here. So this report comes out of both from Georgia and from a rival team in the AFC South. So we'll dive in and assume that there's at least some truth to this. So the report says that the sources close to Georgia have stated that the Indianapolis Colts are looking to potentially trade up into the draft to acquire Georgia tight end Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers is said to be like gone by pick 10. So there's a lot of places that the Colts might go. But this is beyond just the it'd be fun if. This is like saying that the Colts are looking to make a serious run towards tight end Brock Bowers. Now, we talked about this a little bit before. Brock Bowers has had an incredible tenure with Georgia. He has had 29 touchdowns. He's had almost 3,000 passing yards in 3 years there at Georgia as the starter. And so you're looking at this and you're thinking, this is insane. I mean, the guy's also won 2 championships. So this is crazy. This is awesome. But who would the Colts be in the market to trade with? So the first 5 picks, Bears, Commanders, Patriots. Those are all 3 going quarterback, likely. Fourth is the Cardinals. They're heavily rumored to be going with either Malik Nabers, Rome Odunze, or Marvin Harrison Jr. More than likely, Marvin Harrison Jr. Is going to be gone here. The Chargers also looking to go probably towards receiver. Giants might go quarterback. So there's 4 quarterbacks in the first 6 picks and 2 receivers. So far, so good as far as what we've been expecting. The Titans are going to be a wild card here of who they're going to pick. We don't know a lot of information, but not likely going to be trading this pick with the Colts. So that leaves us with who is actually going to be who could be trading with the Colts. The Falcons are a potential. The Bears' second pick. This one is the one I think could be really, really interesting. Either Falcons, Bears would be the ones that I think the Colts might have a real shot at if they're going to do it. But you also got to remember the Vikings are picking at 11, and they need a quarterback. And so they might also be sending, they might send a whole big package. They might even send it to the Titans to get in at 7, or the Chargers to get in at 5. I wouldn't put it past Harbaugh to be playing that game. But here's where I think the Colts could get in. They could get in at 9 or 10. And I think that the Falcons aren't going to be picking tight end. The Titans might pick tight end, but the Falcons aren't going to be because they have Kyle Pitts. But you're looking at the Bears and the Jets. So that gets us into 9 or 10. And likely Brock Bowers could very well still be there at 9 or 10. Now, again, this all sounds crazy because the Colts have never traded up in the first round. But Pro Football Focus just released this little article that showed the 5 best and the 5 worst teams at picking in the first round. The Colts were ranked number 4. They were ranked number 5, behind only the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chiefs, and the Bills. And that might seem a little crazy because it feels like we've had quite a bit of draft busts. But look at this list from the past 6 drafts. Now, we had 2 years where we didn't because of the DeForest Buckner trade and then the Carson Wentz trade. One of those was great and one of those was not. But let's look at the last 6 picks. And obviously there's 2 of these that I think are still up in the air. Obviously Anthony Richardson. We don't know if that's going to be a bust or not, but he at least looks like a really good quarterback. I put my trust in that. So let's look at 2015 Philip Dorsett. Terrible pick. Was not good. He had like a couple of good seasons. Then he bounced to he was on the Patriots, and then he was on the Broncos for like a season or 2. So I don't even know where he is now. But then you look at this, Ryan Kelly, an incredible pick. One of my favorite offensive linemen that I've ever seen. When he's healthy, he is dominant. He's so unbelievably good. Then Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker was really good when he wasn't hurt. So I still think this was a good pick. And then Quentin Nelson. In 3 years, you picked one of the best dynamic duos of offensive line in the history of football. They have been unbelievable, minus the one bad season, but they have been unbelievable. I mean, these two are at this rate going, could be very well Hall of Famers. And then you have Kwity Paye. Kwity Paye is on the rise. The dude has continued to work and to grind and to get better and better every single year. And then you have Anthony Richardson. So these are good. The 5 out of 6 of those are good picks. And Malik Hooker, I think, he had a great year with the Cowboys, or great 2 years with the Cowboys so far, and a couple of great years with the Colts. So I think that the Colts draft very well in the first round. And they draft very well otherwise. They don't really have a whole lot of busts. Every team has a fair share of them, but for Pro Football Focus to rank them at 5, I think shows that we need to have a little bit more trust in how the Colts are going to handle this. So we look at, Brock Bowers. Now here's the other wild card, is that the Colts are hosting LSU wide receiver Malik Nabers on a top 30 visit today, actually. So that's happening right now as we speak. Malik Nabers is in Indianapolis. Malik Nabers and his agent have been very clear that they're not going to meet with teams that they don't think could legitimately land Malik Nabers. And he's ranked number 3 on the wide receivers being taken off the board. And some have him at number 2. So Marvin Harrison, clear number 1, wide receiver 1 off the board. But then you look at Malik Nabers and Rome Odunze, and those two can go back and forth as to who the Colts, or as to who is going to be taken second off the board. And so I think that if the Colts are hosting him, it could very well mean that they either know that he's going to be available at the 15th pick, or that they think that he's going to be, or they're going to trade up and get him, which again would be crazy because we've never seen that happen with the time in Indianapolis. I think we've all kind of been expecting the Colts are going to trade back, but for this report to come out of like an actual report by actual sources confirming this, that the Colts could very well be looking to send the kitchen sink, everything in the kitchen sink at Brock Bowers to get him. And then this even says that they would run the card if he's available at 15. So even if they don't trade up, if he's at 15, they're going to run that. They're going for it. I think Brock Bowers would add a huge dynamic element to this Colts team. The Colts were very mid in their passing game last year, obviously having a hurt Anthony Richardson, but even still with a healthy Anthony Richardson, they weren't able to be truly dominant yet, and a lot of that's just settling in. They have not had the opportunity to settle in, but I think that this provides Brock Bowers would provide a whole new dynamic to what the Colts could do in this, and I think this would just be wild. It would be so crazy to see Anthony Richardson, Brock Bowers, Michael Pittman, Jonathan Taylor. You're talking about something of dreams that I think for us as Colts fans, we would just love to see the ability to have explosive plays. Having Josh Downs come back at another season would be amazing. Alec Pierce would then be able to have some more plays and hopefully improve some of his drops and be able to get those catching traffics that we want, or just be the downfield threat. Either way, I think this would be really, really exciting if the Colts are able to land Brock Bowers. And again, if they're that confident with how well that they usually draft in the first round, send it. Let's do what it takes to get him. If you're that confident that he's going to be the guy, send it. Send everything in the kitchen sink. Let's get the guy.